reminds me of the past. And sometimes I hear your name. Sometimes I hear your name. It reminds me of the pain.
in their mind that they created the Second Amendment.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And maybe some of these trade-offs cannot be fully mitigated. And then you're just back to the underlying policy considerations of the Second Amendment itself. I'm not quite ready to give up the idea that there's not a way to. I'm not quite ready to give up the idea that there wasn't some sort of policy.
Hello, world. Zounds, world. Welcome. I can only see Beezy and Spoon in the chat, but apparently we've got 8 watching, so I thought I'll just come on and say hello. Thank you for watching. At the same time as I'm doing this, I'm watching a trial that I know nothing about. Self-defense trial. Let me just see who it is. A guy called Aaron Dean. I think it's another one of these things where he shot somebody, that either a policeman shot somebody or a house owner shot somebody. First I've heard of it. I've only just seen it. It's day 4 now of the trial. This is the first I've seen of it, which is a shame because I've had nothing to look at all this weekend. Can somebody in the chat just say whether you can hear me or not? I guess I can go to settings and have a look at my audio. Is my audio working? Yeah, should be. Okay. Thanks, BZ. Appreciate it, because you never know if you're sitting here talking to a screen whether it's working or not. So it's always nice to know. Because very often I'll mute myself, talk for 10 minutes quite intensely about something, then find out that I've been muted. I muted myself. That's really frustrating because I can't remember what I just said in the last 10 minutes. But I will tell you a funny story, Beezer, and you might appreciate it. I think you can tell I'm a cynical old sod. I think the older you get, I think just naturally you become cynical because you've seen all the cons, you've seen all the lies, the cheats, the untruths and whatever. So you tend to give, even if you're a really trustworthy person, you become a trusting person, I should say, you tend to become more cynical as you get older because you've had more experiences of stuff going wrong. This Saturday, my wife made a plan for us to go to her sort of her Buddhist mentor. Best way to describe it. So my wife is a devout Buddhist. She has a mentor who is an old lady, and we politely call her New Mama. She's not her real mama, but she's her new mama. And my wife's told me lots of stories about this woman. I've only ever met her sort of in social gatherings and whatever, where she's just a sweet old lady. Always really happy when I turn up at one of their events because they're quite wealthy and, you know, whatever. And but we were almost summoned to go there on Saturday. My wife told me 2 weeks ago, can we make sure we go on this Saturday? So we turn up, do the usual introduction and chit chat and whatever. And I wasn't allowed to have any beer, although we brought lots of beer with us because that's what we do. After about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, we were summoned into their big Buddhist room. Now, we have a Buddhist room in our house, which is the size of an average bedroom, where it's all a Buddhist shrine. lots of statues, lots of incense and that sort of stuff. It's like an altar. Best way to describe it's like an altar in England or in the West. And we have one of those. This house we went to has 3 rooms, big rooms that are, and there's loads outside as well, but in the house, 3 big rooms are dedicated to Buddha. So we go into the room, and the old lady, we sit down, and the old lady comes in, says a few prayers into her Buddha statue, and quite genuinely changes. She walks over to her seat, and I know you're going to think I'm exaggerating, but it was just a different person. Apparently, hi Casey. Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah. It's a boring pond, but Christ, it's better than seeing most things, isn't it? Yeah, so she sits down on her sort of 2-seat throne is the best way to put it. You know, really decorated. There's lots of gold in the room. It's really fantastic. Impressive. As good as you'll see in any Buddhist temple. The whole setup they've got. And she sits down, leans back in the chair, and it's a different person. And apparently what happens, or what she'd like us to believe, or what, is she's possessed by an old Buddhist monk. Now, that might sound ridiculous, just to me. Everything about her changed. Her whole life force looked manly. The way she sat looked manly. The way she was eating something that the Buddhist monk liked. Her eyes were piercing. It was just, I mean, this old sweet lady was just a sweet lady. Smiley, happy, whatever. I was kneeling in front of this Buddhist guy. As I say, honestly, it was that convincing. I had to check with my wife when we left, when we'd had the blessing and the good luck and whatever. I said, is that the same old lady? Yeah. What, the old lady that's really nice to me and really friendly and whatever? Because this was an old cudgel. What's the word? Cringy, I think is the word. He wasn't taking any mess. If ever anybody's been to Thailand, they put bits of string on your wrist for good luck. They put one on both hands, and you know it was all. But it was just done in a manly way. It was just no messing. Give me a hand. This is going on your hand. Blah blah blah. It was quite impressive. Now it could all be. But my reason is why it's so weird. So why would you do a show? I mean, if it was the old lady that came out and gave me a lucky blessing, I'd be just as content. Why would you need your body to be possessed or possessed, not repossessed? That's when they take your car back, isn't it, I think. But why would you want your body to be possessed by a Buddhist spirit unless that was the important bit? Anyway, it was interesting. I'm not saying I believe any more than I did on Friday, but I can 100% understand why my wife believes and why all her followers believe. Very impressive show. You know, and it's not coming from somebody that you would think was a con artist. It's not like some young guy trying to make a lot of money from it. This whole thing didn't cost me a penny, apart from I think I took a bottle of whiskey because I knew some people that were going to be there that like whiskey, and I only took 4 beers, so it's not like it was a really expensive blessing for me. £10 at the outside, $12. I found it interesting anyway. And they do say that the people who are more cynical, you've only got to prove to them once or twice and they'll believe you. So, but it was good. Thanks, Casey. I appreciate that, sir. Yeah, we're getting deep now, and I've been hold on, just get rid of the sex bots. Hide. I think somebody must have already beat me to it. It's an error. So yeah, somebody's already hit it. Thank you, whoever hit. Beasy, I don't know, Mr. P. Well, Beasy, right. If we knew the answer, life would be a piece of piss, wouldn't it? That's the big problem. We don't know. Is this the one life we have, or is there something afterwards? I tend to follow. It's quite a new thing to my mind. I tend to follow Jordan Peterson's view, which is it doesn't really matter what you believe or what you think you believe. Subconsciously, you probably believe there's a life after death. Through thousands and thousands of years of people believing there's something after death, it's sort of ingrained in you. So you live a life. Even if you're saying, no, there's no God, there's nothing after life, there's nothing. You probably, most people, not all, most people live a life as if there is something at the end of it, as if there's something else. And there's nothing we can do about it. It's just like nothing you can do about how tall you are or how short you are or how big your feet are. It's just part of you through thousands of years. I don't even people who aren't religious feel comfort in going to a funeral. There is something nice about being at a funeral and saying goodbye to the person you loved or knew or whatever. Now, that's a bit weird, but we've done it through centuries. Every culture on the planet has done it through centuries. It's quite important to say goodbye to people when they die. There's some things we don't really have a lot of control over. You can shout and say, no, I don't believe in this. This is your only life. It's nothing else afterwards. Live it as you would. But if you did, sorry, PC, when you talk about possession, that brings up memories of the movie The Exorcist. And that movie scares the crap out of me. Oh, BC. I took my first wife to see that in England. And at the time, they were so worried about it. You had religious people outside giving out leaflets to say, look, if you're worried about this movie, come and see us at this church or whatever. Christ, how old would I have been when that came out? Couldn't have been, I would have been early 20s, I would have thought. Maybe, yeah, really early 20s, I guess, when we saw that. It messed up my wife for a long time. It really, really scared her. I confess, VZ, it didn't scare me in the slightest. I just thought it was quite comical, quite funny, a little bit scary when the head starts spinning and the spook starts coming out, but not. It to me, it was just a joke. Didn't scare me in the slightest. But I can understand where you come from, VZ. It really upset my wife. And I guess now it's nothing. I would imagine if you show it to the kids of today, they look at The Exorcist as being quite a mild movie compared to the scary stuff they do now. But at the time, it as I say, they had religious groups outside of the cinema giving out leaflets and what have you. But look, I was a guy, young man of 20, and at 20, not much scares you, does it? Even if it should scare you, it doesn't scare you. Now we're talking about the original. The original with Linda Blair as the child was let's see, I would say 70, 77, 75, something like that. 77, yeah. Well, I wasn't too far away. But probably you show it to a 16, 18-year-old man today and they're like, what? You were scared by this compared to what they see? And the horror movies they see, probably nothing at all. '72, so no, it's got to be later than that. Not much later. It's got to be later than that, though. 72, I was only 15, I think. Yeah, 15. 72, I was 15. I couldn't have got in to see that movie then. Got to be a couple of years later, I would say. He's got with that. No, we don't like Google. We're not going to check. We're going to go with what we remember. I would say a little bit later. I think Casey's got it right at 77. I can't. So what we're saying is, and I was with my wife when I was 16, so that is possible. Fuck me. I was 16 when I saw 73, born in 57. Bloody hell. And that was what was great about being a youth in those times. I got beer when I was 14 in pubs. And obviously, I could get into the cinema. Hold on one second. Christ, that must have been one of the first movies I took my wife to see them. Because I was nearly 16 when I met her, and she was 18. I still look, KC and BC, there's always a chance we saw it a year later. Not saying that I thought we saw it when it first came out, because obviously we had the people outside the thing. Let me give you my view on this, BC. If there are ghosts, spirits, whatever, to me that's a good thing. The frustrating thing I feel in my head is that if this is it, I've done my bit, I've spread my genes around, and there's 9 or 10 people that are on this planet that I have something to do with. So I've sort of done my prolong my Perrin's DNA. But if there's not something after when I die, then it's all a bit of a damp squid. Everything I've learnt, all the knowledge I've accumulated, just dies. That to me is, I think that's what's going to happen. I can't see any way around that, but it's all just a bit frustrating. If there is something after death, regardless of what it is, then at least it's something. So ghosts, spirits, whatever, they honestly, and I'm not saying this to be brave or show bravado or macho or whatever, they genuinely don't scare me. I would love to experience a ghost, to see a ghost, to shag a ghost. No, that's an old joke. I thought you said goat. No. But no, they honestly don't scare me. I would walk around any graveyard at whatever time you suggested to me without a care in the world. Let's face it, most ghosts should haunt hospitals, because I would imagine what's the word in England? Christ, I've had too much wine. I can't remember the word. We have for old people in England, we when you're going to die, they put you into a hospital. Oh, I can't. Fuck me, my brain is gone. They put you into a hospital where they know you're going to die. They just take care of you till you die. They should be the scariest places on this planet, because everybody that goes there ends up dying there. Shaun the Sheep, definitely something is beyond our capabilities of thinking to why we exist and the way we are. Well, yeah. That's why we have religion, trying to explain it. Even the most stupid people, I don't mean that in a bad way, but even the most uneducated people wonder what's going to happen when they die. So if you can give them some sort of answers, religion, spiritualism, some sort of answers, of course they're going to lap it up. We all do. We all want answers to that sort of question. Shaun, I do as well. And the problem is religion sort of doesn't just answer what's going to happen after death. It gives you lots of laws and rules to live by and stupid stuff. But the reason for it, you've got to go back to the fundamentals, are we're all a bit scared of what happens when we die. And it's a bit worrying. So people look for answers, people give them answers, and they're happy. I think I've never been a religious man. As I say, I've always liked singing hymns in church. I love churches. I love the ceremony of religious things. I quite like that. But I'm closer to you, Sean. I don't really believe there's anything after death. However, as Jordan Peterson says, I probably live my life as if there is something after death. You know, I don't go out into the street and kill people or rape women or do things that, and I try to live a fairly civilized life. Don't misunderstand. I don't even really try to do that. I just do that. I'm not living my life in a reasonable way to secure my after death heaven. I do it because that's the easiest way to get through life. Oh, sorry, Sean. I'll put the link up again. There's not many. I'm quite happy yakking, but I'll put the link up again in case you sort your mic out. If I can just remember how to do it. Give me 1 minute. I've just drunk a bottle of wine because I've had a real shit weekend. Didn't work at all. And I've got... The problem is it's still going to be a problem tomorrow, and I've got lots of stuff to sort out tomorrow. But I can't give you the details because it's just... Oh, let's stick this up here a minute. Paste. There we go. Excuse me? Welcome, sir. You've missed it. I was talking about... I'll be very brief. Talking about a monk, so an old lady who turned into a monk to give me sort of good luck at the on Saturday. And one of the things she told me that apparently I'm going to live till I'm 80, which, you know, it's a reasonable age for a man like me who smokes and drinks and probably hasn't taken I do eat well, but I haven't taken the best care of myself. 80. I think, fuck me, it's only 15 years. That's all it is. 15. I'm sure anybody who's 40, 50, if somebody says you're going to live till you're 80, well, yeah, that's reasonable. Because you're looking at 40 years or 30 years. Yeah. She told me you're going to live till 14 years. So I'd go by like so quickly. My wife was happy though. Oh, we have another 14 years together. But we all know, I think everybody on here is the same, as you get older, the years pass by so quickly. 14 years to me is about 2 years to a 10-year-old. Maybe that's why I'm feeling depressed this weekend. I've only got 14 years left. Fuck me. I'm never going to find a cure for cancer in 14 years, am I? Or get a #1 pop song, learn how to play the guitar, become an astronaut, scratch golfer, I need a mission, really. I've got 14 years left. What can I do in 14 years to make a difference? As you can tell, I'm a little bit drunk here. But there's a slight seriousness to my question. Do I waste and export? I mean, I have influence on my family around me. Obviously, I'm an influence on my step-granddaughter. But is that really enough? Should I really work? Yeah, I need a mission, UV. Well, how the brain works, BZ, in that when you're young, it sounds weird, but your brain is fairly empty. So every new experience is more important. Hold on, just let me let Sean on. Hello, Sean.
Hey.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I don't know how well my mic's gonna do. It tends to go in and out. So if it does get bad, just let me know, and I'll just pop out.
At the moment, you're absolutely fine, loud and clear, Sean.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for having me on. It was a really interesting topic that wanted me to come on and discuss it a bit. That was I don't know. It's interesting. You ever seen like I can only go by from what I've seen, but like so when someone passes and you go to the funeral and there's the open casket, and if you know the person, and this goes especially for if the person is just passed tragically, like if they were a younger person especially and they just happen to unfortunately go, and one day you're talking to them and the next day they passed on, and you're in the funeral home and you see their casket, and a lot of people say there's something missing, like their soul is, I don't want to use the term soul, but like there's something, their conscience, I guess, is missing, and that's gone, and they say that that's probably reborn somewhere. I don't know if I necessarily believe in that anymore. I used to think that, but not so much anymore. I think like you were saying, there's probably nothing after we pass. Maybe there's something from our body that will go and live on, something that's beyond our means of thinking, but we're not going to have any memory of our time on Earth, in my opinion, or the life that we've had.
Well, that's the big problem. Sure, we don't know.
Yeah. And I hate that, to be honest. I can't stand that. I hate the fact that we don't
Yeah.
know. Drives me
Well,
nuts, to be honest.
When I was a young man, I used to sell life insurance. And
Oh,
one of
yeah. Okay.
the best lines that we used to have was selling pension plans was that we have a big problem.
Hmm.
You don't know when you're gonna die.
Right, right.
So you have to make plans for you living longer than you thought you were going to live, or dying earlier than you thought you were. You know, you got to take care of your family, so you got to have life insurance in case you die before you think you were going to die, and
Right,
you got a pension plan to take care of. You're going to live longer than you thought you were going to live,
right,
and it's a
right.
little bit similar with religion. You know, nobody really knows what's going to happen. We tend to live our life regardless of what shitheads we are. Most people, unless we're mentally ill, live quite reasonable lives. You know, we don't go out
Yeah.
killing people or doing horrendous things. You know, that some people do, but not most of us don't. Most of us are just looking for a quiet life,
The,
with a
the
bit
thing,
of, with more sex than we get,
Mhm.
and you know that's really all we look for.
But the thing about oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
The thing about religion is that we put so much trust in the religion to follow our lives, and who are the people that are leading that is the priests and the rabbis or whoever, you know, and for all these religions. And I just think that we're at a point where, to be honest, it's just a business for them. Let's face it, because we have so much information now. Science has improved and technology has improved so much. We have so much more information at hand that we can see that a lot of this is just false advertising, in my opinion. If you look at, I don't mean to change. I'm not trying to change topics. I like this topic, but I just saw something a few weeks ago that I thought was really interesting. Is that with the war going on in the Ukraine, Russia, they're very big on Christian Orthodox, and they still have what do they call priests that are in the platoons, each platoon, and a priest is treated just like a medic. You're not supposed to kill the priest from the other side. They're unarmed, and what their job is they're just supposed to give you a blessing before you go off into the battlefield, like right before the battlefield. And there's pictures online of it, and I just find that like bizarre in this day and age, to be honest, something like that. So I just think that's one of the things. I just think like religion is just totally, I don't know. I'm not trying to be rude to anyone
But
that.
it's obvious. It's because it worries everybody.
Yeah. People need
Um,
something to trust, to keep.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
To yeah.
I actually am quite envious of people who are believers, because it takes a lot of pressure off of you living your life. If you believe that all you have to do is abide by certain rules and be respectful to certain principles, and you're going to have everlasting life in heaven or whatever. It takes away a lot of worry from, you know, quite honestly, when I don't know if you were listening, Sean, what I said, that the monk on Saturday told me I was going to live till I was 80.
Mhm.
It's only 14 years. That's fucking nothing. Um,
Yeah.
and because I think there's nothing at the end of those 14 years, that's a bit depressing.
Right. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I believed, as truly religious people do, that, wow, I'm going to have a everlasting life. I mean, look, I'm also. Do you know a guy called Christopher Hitchens?
Christopher
Sure.
Hitchens? No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, look him up. He died of throat cancer 5 or 7 years ago, maybe more. Really good argument. Anti-theorist he was. Anti-religion in
hmm
all its forms. Hated the idea of it. Argued that it had caused all the problems in the world. Argued that he was just as moral as anybody that was religious. His theory was, look, even if there is a God, the last thing I want as a free will man is to go up and have to pray down to this God creature in heaven every day, and then just for a bit of light relief, go and look over the cloud at the falls in hell.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Um,
Yeah, it's a good point.
so, excuse me, 1 minute.
Okay. hmm I can't see the chat.
If you haven't seen him, John, you'll love Christopher Hitchens.
I'll look him up. Yeah.
One of the
I'll-
best
I'll-
arguers, debaters, whatever you want to call it, I've ever seen. One of the first people I ever started watching on YouTube. Very well spoken, very quiet, a bit almost like an early Jordan Peterson.
Have you ever listened to Noam Chomsky?
Oh yeah, I like Norm.
Yeah, he's not so bad. He's a bit veers to one side politically, but overall, he brings up some very interesting points, which I always find kind of interesting. Yeah.
Well, a lot of these people, you think, Christ, they are so good. I mean, I even used to like what's the physicist? Oh, Shepard, Sam. No, not Sam Shepard. Sam Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
Okay.
him?
No.
He's he's a real anti-Trump guy,
Okay.
and he was okay until he just came out and said, "What did he say that was so outrageous?" Something along. Don't take me word for word on this. Something along the lines of, "I would rather people died, children died, than Trump got another 4 years."
A term? Oh, yeah. That's interesting. That reminds me of what okay, if you're religious, you're supposed to be impartial, right? And the biggest thing is Trump says his biggest thing was in his first term, he's going to build that wall, right? And everyone made fun of him for that. And the Pope in the Catholic Church, right? The Pope came out and the Pope got involved, and the Pope says he shouldn't be doing that. It's not right. And yet the Vatican has walls around the Vatican City. It's a complete hypocritical thing for him to say. He's just a religious guy. He's not even in politics. You know, there's so much going on there that you look at it and you go, well, why do so many people look up? I don't know. Now, I'm not trying to badmouth. I don't want to badmouth any type of religion, but it's just, I just see it as being, these guys, they've become too, I don't know, involved with, like, if you become a priest now anywhere, everything's tax deductible, right? And they all accept cash for everything. So, I mean, I remember reading a story during COVID where this guy at the church, he made like $300,000 in 1 year just charging people to park in his parking lot, and that's tax free. So it's fun.
Because I'm just going to say, what Sam Harris said, because I just paraphrased what he said. Hold on. At least for a day after essentially claiming the media is government cover up to keep Donald Trump out of office. He said more than that. He did say children died, but I mean, the first thing he said was he claimed that if the media and government cover up to keep Donald Trump out of office would be justifiable. But he said worse than that. Look, I've just looked at this. That's not what he said. That's Google trying to cover up what he said. He said he was quite happy with children to die. Hold on. That's too long. Oh, he also said Trump is worse than Osama bin Laden.
Oh, did he really? Fuck yeah.
I
haven't heard that shit like that before. Oh,
but yeah, there's two people to look at. Look, Sam Harris is quite a critical thinker.
I mean,
works out problems.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's not nowhere near as clever as Jordan Peterson. And Christopher Hitchens beat him in various arguments, but he's still quite, compared to the average man, he's a clever guy.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. You're never always gonna be 100% on your test, in my opinion. So it's just, I don't know, it's just thoughts, I guess. But yeah, it's like Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk, he's an incredibly smart guy. He really is.
Yeah, I agree.
But some of the shit that he says is fucking stupid. But some of the shit he's done lately, I actually agree with the guts that he is coming out and doing a lot of the stuff that he's doing. But he's trying to get canceled. Everyone doesn't like him. How
do you think it's going to work out, Sean, with Twitter?
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone! You can't just can't. It's like trying to cancel Halloween. It's like saying we're not going to send your kids around to don't trick or treating anymore on Halloween. Everyone's got to do it. It can't just be 25 or 30%. It's got too much of a thing going on, No one, you can't get that many people to cancel such a big social media platform.
I didn't quite mean that. I think you're more optimistic than I am. I think he's going to be hit rather like Trump's been hit, in that the FBI will move in, and the Treasury, more importantly, the Treasury will move in. And
it's an interesting point. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I never thought about it like that. But I don't think so, because he's not really in politics. He's more of a businessman. He's got the power to say, well, if that's the case, let's say if the state court of California, someone puts a case up against him and says, we're going to do this to you, then he can just say, okay, fuck you. I'm going to move everything out of California. I'm going to move it to the state of New York, which will be and money talks. So they'll be happily ready to accept all the business that he brings in, all the jobs that he's willing to set up. Right. So Trump, it's different because Trump is doing something that is like he's putting all his eggs in one basket. It's do or die type of thing. Whereas Elon Musk, he has cards that he can play. You know what I mean? Like he's got leverage, things that he can work with, where he can turn around and he can say, if you want to do that, well, I'll just do this type of thing.
Yep.
Right? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Let's come back to this in a minute.
Yeah.
As lovely it is talking to you, Sean, we're missing the chat, and the chat is king, as we know.
Yep.
Beezy,
I can't see it. You'll have to read it out for me. I apologize.
I'm more of a
can't see
spiritual
it.
person. Yeah. That's good. But so, please either jump on. What do you think will happen when you die? I can understand being spiritual and whatever. Well, I really can't. I think I'm quite a span ahead when it comes to spiritual stuff. I don't get it, but I'd love to know what you think. UV Prize, I don't like Trump either, but saying there's bullshit. Just exactly. BZ, no different than lifelong politicians getting everything tax free and all those perks and becoming, Even in England, you've only got to become a politician. You've only got to get in once, and you've got a pension for life. You're made, really.
Oh yeah, it's same. Yeah, same thing over here. Yeah. Look, I mean, look at the FIFA World Cup. Look at why the hell is the FIFA World Cup being held in Qatar? No beer, no alcohol. They've changed the schedule around. Come on, really? Like, and before that it was held in Russia. Yeah, and now they've kicked out Russia. Like, so stupid. Like, why do we even? I don't know. Like,
well, that's another thing. I have lost interest in a lot of sports because of just that. It's just for money. And don't misunderstand. Yeah. I understand that sports are about money. It's entertainment. But when it's that blatant that we're having in Qatar because they're giving us more backhanders than America or whatever, no.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Olympics is the same thing.
I still like Peterson. I think Jordan Peterson is genuine. I don't think he's preaching. I think he just found a niche that lots of young men had never had anybody say to them, "You're doing a good job. Just do this and do that, and you'll be okay." And I think he's okay. I don't understand you, mate. I know where you're coming from. I can see he can come across as preaching, but he is very clever. He's a clinical psychologist that's had hundreds of patients, so he does understand people better than you and I would suggest. So I don't consider it preaching. I think he's just found a little niche. I appreciate his advice. I wish I'd heard Jordan Peterson when I was a 20-year-old man. Really do. Now, I've worked my way over those 40 years since then to sort of end up doing what he suggested anyway. But I think if I'd have heard him when I was 20, it would have made my life a bit easier. So, yeah, I'll always stick up for Jordan. I think he's okay. And I do think he's genuine. I think when he cries, when he says that he said he had a father and son come up to him, and said, we both listen to you and we both love each other so much more and understand each other so much more after listening to you. And he cries when he tells the story. I believe him. So, yeah. But, all right, okay. Right, next one. Simple to me. Well, okay, you mate. So why are we here? You might as well just kill yourself tomorrow. And I know I shouldn't advocate suicide on any channel, but if you really believe that, if you 100% believe that there's no point to this life, I'll just slit your throat now. I don't mean that to you because I like you, obviously. But no, I as cynical as I am, and I think I believe the same as you, really, but of course I don't. I think I'm going to get 69 virgins when I go to heaven. Allah Akbar.
You know, it's quite interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting, it's a hot topic, but yeah, if there's no life afterwards, to take your own life has got to be very boy, you really got to be in an interesting mindset. I've known people personally that have taken their own life. It's a hard thing to cope with, but I always wonder whether the people that have done it, and this goes for the same type of people that do the I guess then like the bombings and stuff like that too, that just decide to end it like at one time. Do they truly believe that there's something for them after, or do they just
I
hate?
think that's two totally different things. Can you bear with it? Great subject, Sean. Can you give me 2 minutes? I'm just going to go and grab a coffee. I'm going to answer. That's two different
Okay,
things.
sure.
2 minutes.
Okay, okay, sure, yeah. I apologize if anyone's in the chat. I can't see the chat. Sure, it's all
Okay,
good
Sean, I'm back.
stuff.
Let's do the chat while you're away. Sorry. Juve, I haven't watched much football anyways, but World Cup I don't watch. Hypocritical shit. Yeah, it is. And I'm watching. I watch my home team in England. Even that though, I don't really follow so much. Beezy, when I say spiritual, I mean you're either a good person or a bad person in your innermost persona. What happens after I die? Nothing. I die. Yeah.
I get it.
I don't know. It's I sort of think that, but I think the way I act in my life, I probably think there's something else. But anyway.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. That's the thing. We just don't know. I remember I went to some grieving counseling once after someone passed away that was close to me, and she basically told me, I said, I don't know if I'm going to see that person again. That's what I couldn't wrap my head around, whether I was going to, all of a sudden that person went and I didn't know if they were going to know me at some point in the afterlife, if there is an afterlife. And she just said, no one will ever know. And I have a hard time always comprehending that like I gotta know something, like there's gotta be some sort of clue with evolution or something.
One thing I
I
will
don't
say,
think
Sean, you mentioned it earlier on, and well, I forgot what you said, but you were talking about when you see dead people and there is something missing.
yeah,
I've seen,
the body, it doesn't, if you know.
it's not like somebody just sleeping. You
Yeah,
can
exactly,
tell
exactly.
instantly just by looking at them. You don't need to take a pulse or check their breathing. For somebody that's been dead for, I don't know, maybe if somebody dies and they've been shot and they're dead,
Mhm.
maybe it's different. But if you see somebody that's been dead for an hour or two,
Right.
you don't need to check anything. They're just dead. You can,
Yeah,
your eye,
it's
you can see it straight away.
just
And
skin and bones, right? There's
it's just
no.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
just a husk.
yeah. There's
Nothing
there's
there at all. The person you knew is not there anymore. So you can once again understand the religious people saying, "Oh, well, the soul has moved on," because even an unbeliever or a cynical bastard like me looks at it and thinks, "Yeah, the person that was inside that body is not there anymore."
mm.
So yeah, sorry, I just had to say that because you mentioned it earlier on.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
forgot about it.
it's a good point. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't believe
Right.
that there's like we were saying. I'm not really a religious person. I don't believe in a heaven or hell. I don't want to go too deep. I don't really believe in like a god or anything like that. But I'm still at a point where possibly, and maybe it's just hope I'm clinging on to, that there's something that is in the afterlife where our, I guess, quote on, like, I guess, soul, if you want to call it like that, your soul goes to, where you will continue on, I guess. I don't know. You won't necessarily know you'll have no memory of what took place here. I'll have no memory of talking to you. I'll have no memory of my family. I'll have no memory that I'm the way I am or anything like that. It'll just be but my something about me will linger on, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's religious thinking. I don't know.
No, well, none of
Yeah.
us do, Sean. That's why we have religion, and that's why there's so much money in it, because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
all are searching. Not all of us. Some people genuinely don't care.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But anybody that you can think was a thinking person thinks, well, what the fuck am I doing here? I've done my best. You know, my DNA is spreading through this world.
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
quite as good at, because isn't there something that says that we're all linked to Alexander the Great within
Right.
sort of
Right.
6
Yeah.
steps or something? You know, it's one of those. I haven't quite done that, but I've done my best. So my DNA goes on, but is that enough? No, it's a really weird one. But no,
Yeah.
let's go back. Before I went for the coffee,
Okay.
you had two different scenarios.
Right.
You
Okay.
were
Right.
talking
Right.
about
Okay.
the Allah Akbar with 69 virgins, and you know
Right.
he's driving into a USA
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
camp and to kill somebody. I don't think that's the same as a man who commits suicide or a lady. I mean, actually, ladies rarely commit suicide. It's mostly men. Ladies try it, but they don't always succeed. They do. sorry, ladies. Watch.
I don't know. I
Generally, ladies do it more for attention.
attention.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of I hear what you're saying, but I kind of disagree with you. I don't think you're giving them enough credit. They definitely
Well, no,
they
look, the statistics prove they try it, men succeed far more times than women do.
Okay, yeah, but okay, Steve, but men, the hormones are different though. Also, you got to understand. So men drink more statistically. They work more statistically. Sorry, my English is not great. And with that comes stress. Even when it comes to like bullying in high school, boys and males, we bully each other in a very more harsher way than the girls do, to the point where boys are more likely to commit suicide than the girls are. You know what I mean? That's
No, I wouldn't even agree with you. I think women can be far more. I mean, if anything, I think the internet turns men into bloody women. That they gossip about each other, try to destroy their reputations, humiliate them. The internet is horrible. The internet turns all men into women. Women do this all the time. Women don't get into punch-ups.
yeah, I agree. But
They go for
words hurt women.
Spreading rumors.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a whore.
Words hurt women more
she's-
than words
Yeah.
hurt men. Men will
Yeah.
be physical. Women will. What are the? They'll cause an eating disorder or something like that. Or saying you're too fat or something, and then that'll push them over the edge. Or they'll get an eating
But
disorder and they'll.
Statistically, look, I haven't got the facts in front of me, but statistically, men commit suicide far more often than women. Women try it, but they don't often succeed. They don't succeed as often as men do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you something. Who drinks?
It's a horrible thing. I've been depressed in life, but I've never been anywhere near depressed enough. I've been sad. I've never been anywhere near depressed enough to consider ending my life. And the great line I heard from another YouTuber was that suicide just moves the pain away from you onto all the people in your life, because they have to live with the fact
I
you
guess
committed
so.
suicide, which is horrible.
But it's different though.
So there's no way. My uncle committed suicide. I've known 2 or 3 people that committed suicide.
Yeah.
It's
sorry to
no
hear
matter
that.
how low I've been, and I've been quite low, like every person here.
Oh yeah, I've been low before.
I've
That's not
never
something.
been anywhere near close to. That's it. I'm ending it all. No, fuck that. I'll just buy a boat and go off sailing. Yeah. When I got low, I bought a boat and went off sailing. There's always a way out.
I quit. I had a really good job. I got low at one point. I had a bad breakup. I quit my job, and it was a really good job, and I was unemployed for almost a year, and it was tough. I gotta admit, it was not easy. But the last thing I wanted to do, people kept saying, well, there's counseling and stuff. You can go and talk to them. The last thing I wanted was pills. That seemed to be like the only answer. And
Do you remember what you said for a year? Do you remember what pulled you out of it?
Honestly, just my own self discipline, if that makes any sense. Just doing it myself. Yeah, it took and support. Actually, you had to have. There was one person that definitely helped me out quite a bit. And that's the only advice I ever got that I kind of agree with is you have to have support, someone that can help you out if it gets to that point. Otherwise, when you're on your own, it can be quite tough. Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But, yeah. I don't know. Why other people go out and end it all and stuff like that, or they join these religious groups, or like, okay, if religion is such a thing, let me ask you this. I'm changing it up a little bit, but we were talking about the whole like Allah Akbar and they kill themselves and stuff, but they call that a religion. So why is it that you have like something like Jehovah Witnesses, which they try and recruit me all the freaking time. When you have Jehovah Witnesses, their main recruitment is going to prisons and recruiting people that have done bad crimes in jail. Who else does that? Is ISIS. ISIS would do that, and Al Qaeda would do that as well. I don't know if I can say that on here, but so what's the difference between? They're both saying it's all about religion, but one is saying let's just end it right now, and the other one is saying God will end it. Because I've had tons of Jehovah Witnesses over the years trying to recruit me, and that's one thing I've learned, that they've always, their main argument is the world is ending, don't vote, don't believe in politics, nothing like that. If you maintain your faith, God will come and save you, and there's only going to be a few people that will be saved from the destruction of Earth.
You know, look, it's a tricky one. My mother was a very clever woman. My father was clever as well. I think they adopted me because I haven't got half their brains. But my mother used to, when she got older, I saw as much of her as I could, but obviously I'm not there all the time. She used to love it when the Jehovah's Witnesses came round. Yeah, come on in.
Oh, really?
Because she
hated it.
She knew so much about the Bible, only because she was a clever woman, and she would angle it. You do know that Jehovah's Witnesses hate Roman Catholics.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
I've got
Go
Sorry, go ahead. I know. I was saying I've got stacks of books from Jehovah Witnesses from like the work that I do. A couple of clients of mine, they're Jehovah Witnesses, and I have to lean into that side just so I can get business from them. But and they always try and recruit me. Always. They do it very subtly. They're very good at what they do.
Anybody in the chat that doesn't realize, if you have a Jehovah's Witness knock on your door and you don't want to be bothered by, what's it called, the towers of the tower or whatever.
Oh, yeah. They got the magazine and everything.
All you do is say, I'm a Roman Catholic. And they will walk away.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's interesting.
That they hate Roman Catholics. My mother had quite, and she sort of.
I remember I answered the door on Easter weekend.
Have a cup of tea, because she just loved the company. Halfway through the conversation,
and never
the dumb old woman say, "Oh, by the way, I have to go to mass on Sunday." Will that affect?
Well, yeah. The thing I learned is you can never be nice to them, because if you're just a tad bit nice, they take advantage of that and they will keep coming around. And they will knock on your door and you'll be hungover. It'll be 8 a.m. Easter weekend, long weekend, Saturday morning, and they'll come to your door and you'll just basically have to be firm with them. And it's almost like a girl or like you're dating someone.
I hate doing this, but mate, don't go. It's not a hard subject. We're just bullshit. Just usual YouTube bullshit.
Well, sorry, you broke up there a bit. Can you repeat that?
Juve said in the chat, I guess this topic is too hard for me. I'm bigger to get out of this. Absolutely not. No, I don't mean it to be hard at all.
No.
It's a very simple subject.
It's interesting.
All we're trying to work around is, should you be scared of ghosts? Should you be spiritual? Do you believe in life after death? That's about it, really. Nothing.
Yeah. All the talk of like the suicide and and the depression, I guess, and all the terror, like all that other, the religion and all that stuff. It just all goes hand in hand. Everyone in life does their own thing. It's nobody knows. No one can predict the future,
No.
right? We can't even predict the weather, right? We've got people that predict that say, oh, it's going to be cloudy with rain tomorrow, and then you wake up in the morning and it's sunny out. But nobody ever says, hey, what the hell? This guy is predicting the future. Why are we believing him? But we do it. So I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's stupid, I guess. Everyone
and you
does it.
go, Christ, we don't know the answers at all. I'm not saying that it's exactly that. I don't know the answers. That's why it's interesting. When I talk about suicide, and I've never been that depressed. Because depression and feeling sad are two different things. And people say, well, just get a grip and move on. When your problems in life are so overwhelming, you think, fuck it, I just can't deal with it anymore. I can understand that. I'm not criticizing anybody who does it.
You just don't know until
all I'm saying is I've just been very lucky in that I've never got anywhere near that depressed.
I think you just don't know until you walk today in that person's shoes. It's like when I quit my job and I got depressed. People would say, well, why did you quit that job? Well, you don't know what it was like until you walked a day in my shoes. So I always assume that people that can't take it anymore, maybe it's similar, in my opinion, right? Like it's just, I don't know. It's just something you prepare for, maybe.
My wife died, and I had a business that was going down the drain. And it got to a stage where I was almost, I was scared to answer the phone. Yeah. I still sort of saw my way through it. But yeah, that was about as miserable as I got. I thought, fucking hell, the phone's ringing again. It's going to be somebody else asking for money. And it was horrible. That was a long time. It was 40 years ago. But yeah, so I managed to get out of that. But
well, good on you.
If I'd have been in that situation and something else had happened, and something else had happened, and something else had happened, maybe I couldn't have done. So yeah, I can understand it. Life is tricky. Life is not easy.
What a sad topic. Like, and we're talking about.
Well, I did start off with jokes, and nobody laughed at my jokes, so we got on to spiritualism.
Oh man.
Hello, Harriet. Lovely to see you.
Hello, Harriet.
Can you sing us a song? Because we're getting really depressed now. We're all going to kill ourselves.
I mean, you know what? It shouldn't be a depressive topic. It should be. It's, you know what? We're all going to the same place, right? So we all cope. I think indirectly, we all cope with each other, whether we want to admit it or not. That we're all going to. We all try and help each other out.
We're all going to hell.
To a certain.
We're all going to hell with some heavy rock music playing as we go down the river.
Yeah, thank God for alcohol, right?
Yeah. We've got Harriet chatting to KC. He's blushing.
He's blushing.
And Harriet has just said, look, interest of being transparent. Harriet has just said, lovely to see you too, Mr. Perrin, except Sean, of course.
Oh yeah, she's always trying to mac on me. She just fucking can't get enough of me.
Okay.
She's always trying to get my attention, but I don't really give it to her.
Oh, Harriet's nice.
Oh yeah, she's all right. Steve, you've heard from me before. I'm pretty sure I don't hate anyone. for the most part in the genre. There's a couple people I kind of despise, but for the most part, I just come on to kind of fuck around, to basically have conversation with people. People can say whatever they want. The drama is fun, but COVID's kind of over now, in my opinion, and I don't want to deal with that stuff anymore. You have to end it at some point. People can't be doing that drama stuff, the same stuff. There's only like
we shouldn't
what,
really talk
40,
about it,
50
it's
people.
not the channel, but you did get really involved in it, Sean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got addicted to it at one point. It was fun. I didn't think I would. I started off on just talking normally. I would talk to like Andy BKK, and I would talk to Aztec and Stephen Clark and whatnot, and I would just talk about like random stuff. I said to myself I didn't want to be in it because before I went on the panel, I remember saying to myself, well, boy, I definitely don't. I'm not going to name any names, but I was like, I want to avoid certain people because I know that they'll try and poke at me a little bit. But it just hit me at one point. It just built up, and I got involved in it, and then part of it had to do with COVID continuing on, and eventually I said I got to find a way out of it, And to be honest, I don't know if I'm completely out of it. I've unsubbed from pretty much everywhere, but I would like to be out of it.
Good man.
It's just not for me anymore.
Yeah,
I'd rather enjoy a conversation, a civil conversation with someone, than deal with the same fake. It's like wrestling, right? Wrestling is entertaining, but it's fake. I don't want to have to deal with the same fights all the time, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I've already proven I've already made a stand. I've already shown the type of person that I am. I think people can take it for what they want. They're trying to draw me back in. I don't really care. I don't care anymore. It's not for me.
Normally I wouldn't talk about this, but I'm trying. So I will ask: are you welcome back to those other channels? Do you think? Because you were heavily involved with them. Did I think that?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They may when you've made a name for yourself. I'm not trying to talk out of my ass, but I think if you somewhat have made a name for yourself,
I think that's a fair comment. I think everybody knew you. Yeah, fair comment.
I mean, one of the things that I looked at that got me going was, so I'd go, okay, I'd sit in the background and I go, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go online. I'm gonna jump on the panel. I'm gonna say this because this person is saying not good stuff or whatever. And I would look at the numbers, and I figured, okay, if they're letting me on, they're wanting me to do something. So then I would jump on the panel, and I would secretly I would be talking and I would be yelling, I'd be drinking, but I would also be watching the numbers. And the higher the numbers would go, the more I would go be really involved in it. And then
but
I would go.
That's all a con. Before you go on, Sean, 1 minute. BZ, thank you very much for joining the chat. See you all later.
Cheers, BZ. Much pleasure. Yeah, that was. She's a
off.
Good lady.
Those numbers are all manipulated.
Yeah, I thought about
with
that.
6 different devices.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say anymore.
No. I kind of get where you're coming from.
So obvious about what they do. What's happened to another channel where they gave him a lot of support, and now he's not so popular, so they've taken away all their viewers. So they now can say, "Oh, well, now your channel's dying," because we're not putting our 6 devices each onto your channel anymore. So you've only got 10 viewers rather than 40 viewers. It's all
Yeah,
pointless.
that's a fair point. But then why would at 12 o'clock at midnight on a Friday or wherever, if I jumped on, and just an example, if I jumped on and I started people like a train wreck. So I noticed the more drunk I'd gotten, the more shit I would say. I noticed the numbers would slowly increase. We're not talking by much, but the numbers would increase. And I'd go, okay, yeah, there's.
I think all manipulated. People would like to see a panel. I think 2 of us on here, people will look, oh, there's 2 people talking. Now, let's see what they've got to say. Oh, it's only Steve and Sean, so not too. You get 5 people on here, and then I'll listen. But most of it is manipulated.
Guaranteed. Oh yeah,
Guaranteed.
absolutely.
They're
It's
all sitting
manipulated.
there
But
with 6 devices, and they're tuning in with different devices, different. So, Christ, you only need 3 people to get 18 viewers. It's obvious.
okay, so let me ask you something then.
Yeah.
Does Cheap Charlie get 250 to 300 viewers with only about 25 people typing in his chat?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
But
think every viewer on Cheap Charlie is genuine.
But he's the one who started. He's the one who, in my opinion, created the whole drama community, if you want to call it that, the StreamYards community in the Thailand side of things.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
No,
Most people started
I
from
would say the person who started it was Twitchy.
Oh God, no! You're way out now. You're out of the ballpark. Twitchy made his name from sniping Charlie. His name was just Greg. He was a troll in Charlie's chat. He went and he sniped Charlie on Walking Street.
Yeah, but Charlie, I don't think ever was ever trolling, was he, or nasty? I can't think.
No, absolutely not. But Greg was, which was Twitchy. Greg was just a troll, and Greg got his name. Twitchy got his name from sniping Charlie, for the most part. And then CCWC helped him out. He built him up too, in my opinion.
I don't know. It's probably before my time. I think I first started watching when Quinton TV did the expose of Twitchy. Before that, I was watching Talkback Thailand with the 3 amigos.
Okay, so you were before me. No, you were definitely before me, but you watched different stuff than I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let's get back to the chat.
Okay.
Bye Beezy. Uve says bye Beezy. It ain't easy being very. That's good, Casey. It ain't easy being breezy. Steve Anderson, welcome, sir. Somebody told us you were banned, Steve Anderson. I hope you realise it was just a glitch or a rogue mod. But as soon as we were told, you were put back on, and I don't know why it happened. Harriet, I see you and got reconciled. Don't know who that means, but I'm lost now. It's definitely time to check out. No, it's not you, babe. And I don't know why that's been. Some comments are stopped for no reason. Yeah, Steve Anderson, I don't know what happened. I think Mike from AMFM or whatever it's called came over and said you'd been blocked here or banned. Nobody of any importance here did that. It was just a rogue something or other.
So is the drama still? If you don't mind me asking, you might know more than me. Is all the drama that's still all going on the same type of stuff? Like you just like
I
the
don't know.
mic and
Look, I actually don't watch as much as other people,
oh,
but I
okay.
watch enough. Um, I don't know what Steph does at all. I don't enjoy his streams, so I don't watch them.
Yeah, I've left
Uh,
him. Yeah, I
yeah,
unfortunately
I
I
got
actually
no problem with it. Nothing. I just don't enjoy it. It's just some of the bits are funny, but it's nothing really interesting. I honestly, and you won't believe me, I've almost stopped watching all of them. It's
yeah
just so
yeah.
repetitive. It's so much the same. And there's some people on the other
It,
streams that I quite like, but
oh
it's
yeah,
just the
absolutely.
same
It's the same
day
shit.
after
Yeah
day after day. And
yeah
as much as I'm not perfect. I like a bit of gossip. I like a bit of argy bargy, but it's the same argy bargy every day.
yeah
And then the two people that hated each other, next week they love each other, and they hate somebody else,
yeah yeah.
and then they're all
It's like
gang up on
some
somebody else. Talk
yeah.
about schoolgirls. It's
Hmm.
just how schoolgirls work.
Yeah yeah
It,
exactly. And you
I've
yeah,
given up on it. I really have. So I
I don't
can't
blame you.
answer your questions about what's happening, Sean. I genuinely don't know.
It's probably a good idea.
I
We
probably would like to know because, as I say, I'm not perfect. I'm a bit of a rubbernecker. I like looking at disasters everywhere else, but
mm.
I don't follow it anymore.
I think
Uh,
it's on its way out finally because it's also a combination of there's two things. One is we're starting to see that COVID is actually heading out, in my opinion. It may not be gone completely, but it's there's proper, COVID is being gone. People can travel again, they can do their own thing. And the other thing is Charlie, Cheap Charlie, like I said before, who created a lot of the stuff. He's out and about and he's doing his own thing again. And I didn't watch Charlie. I didn't like Charlie in the US doing like the camping stuff and things like that. I thought it was boring. But I actually enjoy watching him in Asia. I actually
oh,
find it
I
fun.
love Cheap Charlie. I love watching him.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Um,
he's great. And he is definitely like what Ron has said Ron has put it perfectly. He's the OG of the genre. And he's gotten better too. He lets his chat flow. He's not crazy about banning, people or anything like that. He's really done a pretty good job in my opinion. And
yeah,
he's definitely he's
and it's
good.
not.
Yeah.
And Sean, it's not easy what he does.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely not.
I
Yeah.
walked around Bangkok midday. Last time I'm in Bangkok on Wednesday this week. But last time I was there 2-3 months ago, and I had an hour free. I walked around Bangkok as if I was live streaming, just
Yeah.
wandering around. Fuck me, was it boring
Uh,
and hot
yeah.
and horrible and what the fuck? I take my hat off to what Cheap Charlie does.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's good. And he doesn't it's like drinking is fun to see someone drink on stream, absolutely, but I commend him for not drinking. And it's tough. Like I could see that sometimes he gets a bit nervous and people give him a hard time, but it's good that he still puts up with it. He's got
well,
guts.
no, that's
Yeah,
what makes it brilliant because
yeah.
he's a little bit socially inept.
Right, right. Yeah.
Um, you wouldn't say he was on the spectrum of being what's the word begins with a oh,
With an O?
ultra is I can't think. but he's socially inept, which makes
Right.
his streams even more interesting. Do you watch? There's a guy that does a really clever, good stream called Paddy. He's called Paddy. What's the bloody channel called? Paddy
Oh, I
does
think
something. He
no,
does
but I think
great
I've heard.
videos. He's very confident. He's very clear talking. He's an English teacher by trade. Very confident, very good looking young man. His videos are nowhere near as interesting as Cheap Charlie's.
Yeah, Cheap Charlie's
Because
innocent.
Cheap
Yeah,
Charlie's, you just don't know what's going to happen.
exactly.
great
He
about
does. He does proper art. Like he's natural.
Yeah.
He's just natural. That's what it is. There's no phoniness to what he does. There's no baiting. People will say, yeah, he's trying to bait money or something like that. But you know what? For the most part, he gets a hard time. He does try.
I also think he's very tolerant of the trolls. Unless
Oh, yeah,
they
absolutely.
Really piss him
No.
off,
I
he
troll
will
him all
let
the time.
He'll let the chat run free and use it as content. Have somebody has a go at him, and because that's what you have to do. You have to use trolls as content for what you're talking about. And he does it really well. It's
absolutely.
Rarely does he say, "Now come on, this is your 6th comment against me. I've answered all of them. I'm going to ban you now." I think that's fair enough. I think he does it really well.
Oh yeah, people love it too. People love it. If you egg someone on for so long and then he says, "Okay, well, like screw you, I'm gonna ban you." It's all good. He timed me out the other day, and I thought it was an unfair timeout. But at the same time, I get where he was coming from. It's fine. Yeah, he's good. He's got a good memory too. He knows that I've been watching for a long time, and I don't think he's gonna ban me or anything like that. Well, I don't know, but he's good. Yeah, he's earned his subs. I'll put it that way. He's earned his subs.
Well, he's lived a really unusual life in that he sort of I think he's done a couple of jobs, but he started selling these magic cards, traveling around the world when he was in his early 20s.
Yeah. I didn't believe that at first.
That's quite unusual for anybody to do that, especially from America where they never travel.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I don't know. I think he I have my opinion. I do this stupid shit. Like I think I know like what is taking place.
Hold on one second. Let me just get somebody else on here. I'm just gonna I'm a bit worried, Stephen Clark, that you're not spanned, and you should be. So I'm just going to put a banner up just so that you can say, "Hello, Steve." Let me just find a banner. Christ, I can't even find one. Where are all the banners gone?
Sorry, Steve. Stephen, you can't come
I haven't
up.
done this for ages.
I think.
Oh,
Steve,
there we go. Put that up there. Okay, and then
Oh yeah, that doesn't look like the real Stephen Clark.
back to there.
It's actually kind of
Then
interesting.
down to there. Sorry, Stephen, for the delay, but as you know, I'm a bit slow. Paste. There you go. I've just put the link up, Stephen. You're more than welcome to join us. I'd love you to join us because I've run out of interesting stuff to say. So it'd be great if you could join us. But I just put the banner up there because I'm a bit concerned. Somebody did say in the chat that you'd been Oh, that's definitely you. Hello, Stephen.
G'day, mate.
Let me just get rid of the
No. Hold on. That's the
Get
fake
rid of the ball.
Steven. Gotta kick him.
Oi,
You kicked him. That was
Sean, you didn't get rid of him, did you?
no. I don't know the buttons. That wasn't me. That was... I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna mute myself for 3 minutes while you guys sort this out.
Oof. Oh, no, that's my new email there, Steve. You still there? Everybody gone.
No, I'm still here.
That's my new email there, mate. What do you call it? Facebook account.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hold on.
The
Let me just
new
get back to-
Stephen Clark there. That's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to speak to Johnny or Andy to get what do you call it? A spanner.
Oh, look, the latest thing at the moment, Steve, is if you start a new account, you have to start a web page. What do you call it? Hang on, sorry, a YouTube channel as well, or you cannot comment. And when I did everything, I was talking to Johnny, and he wanted me to comment, but they wouldn't let me to join. And then it won't let you make a new web page unless you got it on your mobile phone. So then you have to put the program on your mobile phone, start up a YouTube channel, so you can comment in the chat. How's that grab you?
I don't know.
Yeah, bit complicated.
I don't know
isn't
what it's like for everybody else on the chat, but your microphone's very quiet for me.
it? Oh, is that bad?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Hey,
Oh, one,
Stephen.
2, 3. No, it's fine here, mate. How's my microphone? G'day, mate. How you going, Sean? Is it loud
I'm
enough?
doing all right.
No, my microphone is it loud enough?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good
can hear
or
fine.
loud or?
No,
No,
it's
so the
perfect.
settings are okay, Steve. I just checked the settings.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm just going to, yeah. Everybody
Oh,
says
okay.
it's loud enough.
All right.
I think I'm just going down.
Yeah.
Guys, I've only got
Uh.
14 years to live. What do you expect?
Oh no! Don't talk to Stephen Clark. He's only got 1.5 years left.
You reckon?
I'm just joking.
Mm.
I don't. No, sorry. It was,
No, the new bloody fucking. You know, I've taken all the Google stuff off me gear, mate. I'll never go back to that guy them again. I'm even thinking of getting an iPhone.
Yo, Spoon. What up, buddy?
G'day, Spoon.
So,
I lost all my accounts. Yes.
Stephen, what's happening in the world? Anything new?
Not much,
Nothing
mate.
new.
There's still a war on.
Yep. There's a
Military
few of those.
operation, what was it? What was it? Military operation, wasn't it? Yeah. What's the other one going on? There's another one. They're brewing a nice war as a sideline, of course, not interfering with a major event. What was that? To Kosovo and something, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's stuff
no.
happening in Kosovo.
Yes,
with
we've
the license plates.
yeah, we've got some very good players in that one. Yep.
It's
that should be
crazy
on start-
how NATO
that
is
should
still.
start- yeah, sorry.
It's crazy how NATO is still in Kosovo. I never knew that. After so many years, they keep the peace there
Dunno.
from stuff breaking out.
Oh,
well,
the games will probably start this week, I'd imagine. I think they've booked it in and everything, so we should have a lot of shooting, a lot of death, and a lot of flattening of cities.
They've already they've started shooting. There's an EU police force I didn't know about.
Someone has been
And-
shooting before the games start, they will be disqualified immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? Fucking, what are they bombing at the moment in Ukraine? They're bombing some city. Hang on. Look at the map. Oh, well.
The
why don't they just
Wagner, the Wagner
no,
headquarters.
is it Wagner? Oh, yeah, it was Wagner, actually.
Yeah.
No, what Wagner's attacking, they reckon they've flattened the whole city. There's
Jeez.
nothing left. It's just flat. But the Russians are really getting into liberation, aren't they? Liberating rubble.
This'll be interesting. It'll be like what'll happen in the next year or two? Will the Russians decide to call it quits like they did in Afghanistan? Or will they just send loads of troops in and just fucking try and bulldoze the everything down? Because they
can't really
could, in my
bulldoze.
opinion. They technically
Well,
could.
there's 50 million Ukrainians, and they're fighting for their lives. The Russians are just window shopping, and
Yeah.
picking out things. There's 280, I think, million Russians. So
I
there's
heard-
6 times, yeah. 6
I
times
read
the
a
amount.
story the other day that they were sending convicts to
Yeah,
the
that's
front
the Wagner
lines.
group. The Wagner group.
Oh,
The Wagner
yeah?
group went into
Mm.
the jails and said, if you join us, we'll set you free. No matter what the crime.
Yeah,
I don't
which
know.
was, it's weird because they're still using the World War II doctrine where
Yeah.
they're getting the convicts and they're telling them, okay, to go
Mhm.
in.
Yes. Yes.
But if they
If you- yeah.
if they
go on,
retreat,
sorry,
then they're going to shoot them, which is,
Yep.
I don't know how much truth there is to that, but that's
Yeah.
yeah. You'd think
That's what
they would
they're doing.
change their techniques, but I don't know.
Well, Russian from World War II was their way of attacking is to flatten the city, then move in. you
Mm.
know. But,
Yeah, that's what they did with
and
yeah.
Germany, and to rape and kill all the women. Okay,
Yeah,
that was
and
Stalin. Stalin told him to rape and kill everybody. He said it publicly, to rape and kill as many as you could. And yeah, they did that actually.
yeah.
They
I've heard
raped
that
something
too.
like 1 million women. They raped.
Cause wreaking havoc, because
Yeah.
part of the war game is psychological. So
Well, they reckon that bombing infrastructure it makes the population more stronger. I think if you're sitting in your home and someone's trying to bomb you, wouldn't you get more stronger? I fucking would. Yeah, have a go, and you'd run out, fucking lose your temper, and then just take them on no matter what. You'd fight like an animal. And that's all that's going to
yeah,
result is going
maybe,
to be.
I don't know.
All the result
Look
is
at
going to be. No?
Look at the Middle Eastern countries. They're not, their
Same there.
armies have never gotten together when they should have. Libya and
Yeah, I understand
Syria
that. You keep bombing the Middle East, and look at them. They attack back any way they possibly can.
Yeah, but
doesn't
those are
work.
fringe groups. Those are like
Yes.
just, I don't know. But,
It's exactly the same thing.
yeah.
They bomb and then they can't hit them back. So they hit it back, and that's where you get the terrorist groups from. And then they hit them back. Look, it's a nasty subject getting into this one, but you look at the B-20, was it B-52? It drops its bombs on whatever, a target. Some of them miss and start blowing up schools and shit and like that, and they can't hit them back, right? So how do they hit back? They have to go to America and do what they call sabotage. Are they sabotaging or just hitting back exactly the same way as the Americans? I'm picking on the Americans at the moment. The other countries are doing the same thing, even the Russians, Where's the win? Where's the win?
War is never, unfortunately, war is never perfect. Yeah, there's no, what do they call it? The convention, the rules of war, something convention, Geneva Convention. Yeah, they never follow any rules with that.
Nah,
Doesn't
never at
work.
all. Do you know, so for a terrorist to go and retaliate to any country, we've got no planes to shoot you down, so we'll have to send somebody in and blow something of yours up like you're doing with us. Exactly what you're doing to us. They're classified as terrorists, and it's a terrorist attack. Is it really a terrorist attack, or they're attacking back?
Yeah, that's what the Israelis and the CIA technically do, right? They're just government sponsored. They just, but if you think about it, ISIS, it's controversial. I don't mean to sound like a weirdo, but ISIS, for example, was sponsored. They had funding by Qatar and Saudi Arabia. And what's that group? Iran sponsors that group in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip.
I don't know the one. Yeah.
I forget the name.
what a fucking joke it is, all though, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Labeling
Look,
someone.
when they blew the Kursk Bridge, I think it was called. I think it was called the Kursk
Mhm.
Bridge in Ukraine,
Mm.
down by Crimea. They called it a terrorist attack. I mean, they're
Yeah,
bombing
no,
the fuck out of
yeah.
Ukraine. Ukraine shoots back at them and hits their bridge. They
It's-
supply
it's-
Crimea.
it's
That's
like-
a
it's
terrorist
wor-
attack. Oh, my
Yeah, it's words. It's words that all sides use. It's no different than saying like if you support if you're conservative or if you support Donald Trump, you don't necessarily have to support Donald Trump. Just to say like if you're conservative, then you're considered far right. And when you hear the word far right, they're trying to associate that with, well, you're a Mussolini supporter or something along those lines, you know? And it's like, well, no, I just don't I don't support myself with left-wing politics at this moment.
Yeah.
I support myself with the right-wing candidate. Oh, okay, well, he's you must be far right. Like they're saying like Italy's new prime minister is far right. I don't think she's far right. You know, you can't get Joe Biden is more right wing than any leader in Europe. Maybe the Hungary leader is a bit out there, but overall, Joe Biden is more far right than any leader in Europe. Yet they
Did you
call
feel that Donald Trump was a good president of the United States?
for the most part, yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
do I. I know why he got fucking voted out. It's got me fucked.
Because he's got a big ego and he's
Because he
not.
wasn't starting any fucking wars.
Yeah, he's got a big
I
ego.
I think it was 1 week in power, Sean. 1 week in power. He set off 250 odd fucking cruise missiles into fucking Syria, wasn't it? I think it was Syria.
Yeah, but he warned them ahead of time that he was going to do it. Then everyone put pressure on him. He could have done that with North Korea. He didn't do that. Instead, he went to North Korea, and he had diplomacy with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With what's his name? He met him in Singapore, or whatever, and everyone gave him a hard time about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got Biden, who's having no diplomacy with North Korea, and North Korea's pissed off, so they're launching missiles over Japan, and they're like not criticizing him at all. They're saying, "Oh, it's all good. North Korea is crazy." Like it's, I can't wrap my head around it all. I really can't.
Only good thing I've seen him do is with China. I think he settled China down.
With Biden, maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Look, there's no use fighting fucking the Chinese. There's too many of them. They're supplying 90% of the world's products. Just try and keep them in line with their military. That's all you got to do.
That's fine.
Money on the military. That's it.
I don't think we should be doing business. I think we need to be moving away from doing business with them. That's what I
shit,
think.
yeah. Look,
They're saying it'll
opinion
take
is
until
stop-
2030 until we do it.
Yeah,
but
stop
I think
dealing with China. Stop buying their products. Learn to
Mhm.
get your products from other resources. But the world won't do that. They want it now. They want cheap products. They want it now. Okay? So let's keep buying off China. You can't get rid of them. We keep giving China all the products. We keep giving China all the money. You know, that's why their economy is so great. So they decided to build up their military. And the West stood by and watched them build their military. Why do you build a military up to that size? Is there any reason? Unless you're gonna use it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Make artificial islands to make
They're
they're doing.
They're not going to weaponize them, though. They promised.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're doing it very slowly, but they're doing basically what Japan did in World War II. They're slowly building a buffer zone around their mainland, and then they're building up they're building aircraft carriers. They're getting an air force, which is big. They've got nukes.
What do they want that for?
Yeah, exactly. And then they're slowly they're putting money economically in other countries, like in Africa, in the Christmas Islands off the coast of Australia, over in Europe. They've got the Silk Road going into Europe. And then when these countries have debt, they're going to turn around. They're going to say, no problem. We'll come in and we'll set up our military, though, for security reasons. We'll help you out. And then
Called a
they're just
debt trap.
copying exactly what the U.S. is doing.
Debt
It'll be
trap.
a while, but that's exactly what they're going to do. Yeah. So
Harriet, too late, Stephen. Chinese products are they're everywhere. Harriet, can't buy anything that's not made in China. Seriously, and we used to make it all. It's a crying shame, really. The amount of shit that's out there at Chinese. Do you know I was in Russia for? Oh, here we go. Talk of shit again. I was in Ukraine for a while. I lived there for about a year. Okay. And when I came, look, there was all products were in Australia, and I went to this hardware store when I came back into Australia called Bunnings, like Walmart and shit like that. I think you're probably familiar with it.
mm-hmm.
And I remember walking in, I seen all these Chinese products everywhere, which used to be Australian or American or English or whatever. And I thought to myself, we're going to pay for this. We are. Now we are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wrong fucking choice. That. G'day, KC, how you going? And Spoon, hi. And Steve Perrin's there too. Look at that, 3 minutes. But,
Steve
we're
Perrin
gonna
in the
pay for it.
chat. Oh, geez.
Yeah,
That's
there,
nice.
I don't know if it's a real one.
Yeah. Oh, good on you, Steve Perrin.
That's the way it is, isn't it? Really. You got to. The only way to stop it, you got to stop buying Chinese, and not stop. I mean, got to have two. You see, they've got one source for the product, which is China. Now, if I was running things, I'd say, well, okay, India, you behave yourself. You're good little Christians, aren't you? No, they're not. Oh, dear. But anyway, that'll do. I'd get them to start producing things, and Indonesia start producing things, and Thailand. Even.
Yeah, you
Thailand
got
can
Vietnam and India. They could. They
oh,
could
yes,
do a lot of
Vietnam.
shit,
Yeah, Vietnam.
Yeah.
And look, the worst thing you could possibly fucking do is to take everything from China. China will just fucking explode. Seriously, they'll go to war. So you eventually take half of it off them, even more. Okay. And do it that way. Take it off them so they don't know about it. You know, look at all the companies that are left there. Where are they going? Going to Vietnam, or I think a lot are going to Thailand. I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like Japan apparently.
Can I ask you both a question? Are you both happy that Biden, regardless of your criticism, he got back Brittany Griner from Russia? Do we think that's a good move?
Brittany Griner, I don't know about that one. What happened?
Oh, that's a terrible move. That's a fucking terrible move. Everyone hates that move.
Stephen,
That's-
all right.
I don't know.
Do you want to tell Stephen, Sean, what happened?
Go on, Sean. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so
Oh, this is the druggo that got the drugs. Got caught with the drugs.
yeah, so the very famous woman who plays for the women's NBA in the US,
Yeah.
which nobody fucking watches, but apparently she's famous. She went in the off season to play in the Russian league for basketball, and she took cannabis oil with her in her luggage, and she got caught.
Yeah.
And then they arrested her, obviously, and then the war is going on, and she got sentenced to, like, I forget, but she got sentenced to like quite a few years. And now Biden has made. Have you ever seen that Nicolas Cage movie, Lord of War?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lord of War was actually loosely based off of a real guy. It was a Russian guy called the Merchant of Death. And this guy was living in Thailand.
Okay.
And in 2010, the U.S. extradited him from Thailand and sent him to jail for dealing dealing weapons to like different countries.
Yeah.
He got sentenced like 60 years or something like that. So Russia negotiated to get him back in exchange for the basketball star. And the basketball star, not that it matters, she's a lesbian, but she's
Hang on a second,
always...
Sean. This China got her, or the Russians got her?
No, the Russians had her. The Russians had her.
Oh, right. So they've negotiated. Oh, I thought it was China. Sorry. And she's
No,
a
no, the
lesbian.
Russians had her. She's
Really a
been
lesbian.
she's been nothing but critical of the U.S. government, left or right, for years. She's just but then she's been crying foul ever since she got arrested. Why the fuck would you take cannabis oil with you to a country like Russia? And she admitted that she did it too. Fucking stupid. I wouldn't
Sean-
fucking. That's
Sean,
the worst.
Oh, that is
Sean,
fucking
you've
nuts.
explained that much better than I could, but the much more detail than I knew about the story. But the one thing you left out was, at the moment, there's a Marine who's in a Russian jail, and he's been left there.
Yeah, because Russia said they're not going to negotiate to get him out.
Yeah.
That's
So
why.
there's
hang
an
on,
American
hang on.
Marine in a Russian prison.
Wasn't he fighting for Ukraine?
I don't think so. No, I think they've accused him of spying. I think
The
it's a
thing is
different-
with him, he's got 4 citizenship. He's got Israeli, Canadian, Irish, and American citizenship.
all right,
And they've accused him of being a spy.
right.
And Russia, and he's got military background. And so Russia is like, no, we're not negotiating for him. Definitely not. So they said, we'll give you the basketball girl. That's fucking stupid deal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's
And when we say girl, Stephen, if you see her interviewed, it's rather like a slightly gay man.
Oh,
Honestly.
Jesus.
Talks like a man, looks like a man, slightly effeminate man. That's
How tall? That'd have to be 7 foot tall, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Look, I don't want her to
7 foot tall
spend.
lesbian.
But I saw a commentator today say, look, if you get a flight to Russia, you get texts, half a dozen texts saying, don't take this to Russia. Don't take cannabis to Russia. Don't take drugs to Russia. And the
it's
airline
common
send you-
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the airlines send you all this stuff. So it's not like, oh, I didn't know it wasn't allowed there. I was just, it's all bollocks.
Fucking moron.
Yeah.
You know the guy that the young kid. It's sad, but the young kid that got arrested in North Korea for stealing he got drunk and he stole the sign in the hotel room. Oz.
I can't remember his
Ozzy
name. Yeah,
or
he
something
died,
like
Oh,
that.
I missed that, Sean. Fill me in. I haven't seen that story.
So a few years ago, there was a young kid. He went to North Korea. He was an American. He went to North Korea on a like a school transfer trip, like a international trip or something like that, like a post-secondary like trip. And he got drunk, and in his hotel room, there was a sign on the hallway wall. I forgot what it said, but it was something like it said something minor. And he was drunk. He was like off to the washroom or something like that, or he was walking around, and he took that sign and he put it in his luggage, and he was on surveillance camera. They were watching him, and they arrested him. And they Otto was his name. Yeah, that's right. And they arrested him, and they put him in like they sentenced him to like a work camp, and then I think they made a deal sending him back like a year later or something. It was under the Trump administration, and they sent him back, and he was like comatose when they brought him off the plane. They don't know what happened to him, but he was comatose, and he died.
Yep.
So, and it's a very sad story.
It is actually.
But if you're gonna go to one of these countries, you gotta have common sense before you go.
Sorry,
I'm just
Sean.
saying.
Sean, did you see the guy crying?
Did you say he died? He was
Yeah.
comatose.
Yeah, he died. Yeah, he came back off the plane. He was comatose. Yeah, he was
You
he was
see
in
him
a
crying in court and begging for forgiveness, crying in the
yeah, I do.
Supreme
Yeah,
Court.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
He was a
it
fucking child, for fuck's sake.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to look this up. He's called Otto. You say Otto,
Otto
South
something. Yeah, Otto was his first
Yeah.
name, I think.
and it was South Korea, North Korea. Was it? You say?
Yeah, he was an American kid. It was only a few years ago. He went to North Korea, and then he got he stole a sign off the hotel wall, and they put him in jail. Yeah, and then he ended up dying.
I got it. Otto Warmbier.
Yeah. And
Right.
Steven's right. Yeah, Steven, you're right. When he was crying, it's tough, but yeah, you gotta use. I've thought about, to be honest, going to North Korea because I like the history of certain things, and people have. I've said it online before, and people
Yeah,
have said,
Sean, you probably, if you want to see North Korea, go to South Korea and go to one of their tips and walk around.
I've done that.
And
I've done that. They've got binoculars
you-
that
You've
you
been
can
to
look
South. You've
across,
been to a
so.
South Korean tip.
No, I don't know what a tip is, but no.
Oh shit, you're American. Hang on. Where they put all the refuge? Where they put all the rubbish? What do you call it?
Oh, okay.
What do you call it in America?
This guy,
garbage
you're talking
dump?
about, Otto, got,
Garbage dump. All right, garbage dump. Sorry.
Yeah,
this guy
sorry.
you're talking about, Otto, got 15 years in prison with hard labor for stealing a poster.
Yeah. I think it was like 20, 21 years old or something like that. And
Oh, I don't think he was that old, was he?
No, younger.
oh, really? Oh, yeah.
He was born in '94, and he was caught in
Oh, shit.
2016. So what's
Oh,
that?
so
20.
18, isn't it?
What's that? 16 and 6. Oh, it's 32. No. Wait a minute. 1994. 22. 22 when he got caught. Thanks, Sean. I've not heard that story.
yeah, it
terribly
was
sad.
on the news. It was in the media and stuff quite a bit. Yeah.
Some
Trump.
reason I missed it.
Nah.
Mm.
And
It's
he
a sad
comes from-
story.
He comes from Cheap Charlie's part of the world, Ohio.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
He looks a little bit like Cheap Charlie.
Yeah. To be honest, it was a really sad story.
Yeah.
But you gotta not like it. We've all been to. You guys have been to Singapore, right? Singapore is a great
Yeah.
country. It's in Southeast Asia, but they tell you before you go in, if you bring in drugs, we'll kill you. It literally says that on the stamp that they give you when you go into the country, and you go,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm not gonna do that shit. Yeah, you check. Sometimes I check my bag. Go make sure no one put anything in there.
Some people get around on these channels and they think having drugs and shooting up's a norm. I don't know.
Yeah. I know a buddy of mine who just went to Morocco. He was staying in Morocco, and he mentioned that he was buying coke a couple nights. And I go, what? That's one thing. I go, what the fuck are you doing? Like buying.
Sure, now they're doing it on live streams.
Yeah, no, it's stupid. But like to be in a Morocco, like a Muslim country, and you're buying coke, like, are you serious? Like they'll kill you if they catch you.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
That's just stupid. And he's a good guy. He's not a bad person, but it's like, why would you? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just mistakes.
What's
that we made, I
what's
guess.
legal in your country, Sean, might not be legal in mine. It's vice versa. Look, in
Yeah,
China, at the moment,
exactly.
I think you can smoke your tits off until you get right off your face, right? You can't.
Yeah,
do that in
yeah,
my
exactly.
country. But, I mean,
In
a guy's
in
gonna get on
Vietnam,
the,
in Vietnam,
gonna get on
there's weed everywhere. It's like, okay, you know what? This is a good example. There in Thailand, there's we'll call prostitution, right? It's everywhere, but
No,
technically,
no.
it's illegal.
There's no prostitution in Thailand. I don't know where that's coming from. That's just a vicious
Exactly,
rumor.
exactly. You got my point. Yeah. So if there's an issue, they'll just say, well, you broke the law, so you're screwed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go out and you go to one of these bars and they decide to rob you or put drugs in your bag or something like that, and you turn around and you go, well, they did it. They're just gonna the authorities are just gonna turn around. They're gonna say, well, you're admitting to doing illegal activities regardless. You're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't win.
Yeah.
That's the way they do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. What was I talking
Anyways,
about? Yeah.
I don't
You know, they get there and they smoke smoking on YouTube and shit, but it's illegal in my country.
yeah.
I think it's illegal in most of America, isn't it too? Still?
No,
But,
no,
you know, like I
it's
said
pretty
before,
much
yeah, sorry, go on.
it's
pretty much.
legal in
Mm.
pretty much every state. It's just not federally legal. It'll never be for a long time.
Yeah, well,
it's like
you know, I was watching one stream the other day, and he's got a couple of tracks out having a sniff. But then again, Sean, you see it in a lot of movies, don't you? You know,
Yeah,
all these
exactly.
blockbusters.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, whatever.
It's legal. It's legal in the US. You just can't like it's like I don't know. It's like under the table. If you do something wrong, they'll just turn around. They'll say, "Well, technically, it's illegal." But like in every state,
Yeah.
you can see pot shops now and stuff everywhere. You may not be able to see I don't know, in like Georgia and stuff like that, maybe, but everywhere
Breezy.
else.
Do you remember the true experience the movie Midnight Express was based on? Yeah, I remember that movie, Beezy. Jesus. Yeah. Do you remember? Have you watched that movie?
Yeah, the Robert De Niro one. It's an old movie. But,
No.
yeah, it's got Robert De Niro in it, right? Midnight Express.
No. It's about the guy that goes through Turkey and smuggles drugs or something, gets caught and gets locked up.
Oh,
I might have him in it. I don't know.
no, and he lands in jail, right? In Turkey,
yeah.
and then he escapes to Greece, right? I think
something like that.
I think I might have seen that. Yeah, that's a pretty good.
Oh,
movie.
great movie! Really good. I don't know
And,
what the actor in there. He just made that movie and he just disappeared. He didn't make them anymore.
Have you ever seen National Geographic Locked Up Abroad? Those docs, those are pretty good.
No,
It's
not
like
really.
real stories of people that have done shit, and then they get locked up, and then they struggle to like escape and stuff. Yeah. One thing.
There's a lot of those things out there.
Yeah. One thing I've learned is you can never depend on your country. Your country don't give two shits about you.
Of course they do. They care about every little part of you.
Yeah.
Just send him back in an envelope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about you when you're overseas. How's the pod going there, Steve? What's happening there? He's got lights around it. Look.
Not much, but do you like the lights at the back? The lights are a new addition.
Yeah. Can you put on full screen for a minute so we can inspect?
Say again?
Put on full screen for a minute so we can
Looks
inspect.
like a park.
Oh,
It looks good. Oh, looks good.
Time is it? Holy fuck! It's midnight. I gotta go, guys. I gotta wake
I
up.
suppose I'll go too. 4 a.m. for me too.
Yeah.
The 1 a.m. for you, Stephen? I think, isn't it? Or 12 midnight.
You say you're
going,
Sean?
Yeah, I think so. I have to. It's Monday.
Thank you for joining the panel.
No, it's fun. Thanks for having me on.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, some of this that all that talk about Stephen Clark was a bit, a bit off, but I'm glad we got through it before he came on.
We're just lucky he didn't hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might take off too, Steve. You yanking around for a while?
Okay, well, I'll leave it on for 10-15 minutes to see if anybody else wants to come on and have a chat. But Stephen and Sean, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah,
Really
thank you.
It really has
All right.
been a good, a really lovely conversation. Thank you.
All right, mate.
Yeah,
See ya.
no,
See you,
thank
Sean.
you.
Bye.
Yeah, see you. It was a
I'll see
pleasure.
you next time, and I'll leave the pond up. I'm only going to stay here for 10-15 minutes. If nobody else wants to join, I'll just put the link up again. Hold on. Just in
I'm
case
sure someone will join. You can't leave old Perrin here hanging.
Well, no, look,
Yeah.
Sean, I'm happy to call it a night. But
Gogus will come on. Gogus, you're in the chat.
just
You
enough.
Fries? I don't know. He's been on the panel before.
I used to enjoy
Yeah.
the early morning ones, Steve, when you come on the early morning. I used to come on those ones. They were good. He used to start broadcasting about 9 a.m. I think it was, something like that. Oh, no,
Yeah.
About
Yeah,
11 he started.
Gogus, you can Gogus, hop on the panel, man. You're always a good pleasure to talk to.
You have to stay with it, Sean, though, because it's midnight here. I'm beat. But
No, if you're going, I gotta bounce because it's Monday night. I gotta wake up. In the
okay,
morning.
let's pull the curtains down then.
All right.
Everybody in the chat: Beezy, Gugus, Steve Anderson, Harriet, everybody else. Thank you so much for participating. And anybody I've missed. Christ, how come the views keep go up
Oh, fuck, it's on
when I'm
18.
closing the bloody stream down? It's talk about Murphy's Law or Sod's Law.
18 watching. Jesus. We should
It's
start up a group or
ridiculous.
something. Eh?
But
We should start a fight. We should start a
Let me
fight.
play- yeah,
Stephen
start a fight.
Clark,
Let's do it.
you've been doing that shit again
Oh,
on
shut up, you
Global.
mole! You're a mole! Steve Perrin started all this.
Yeah. Steve Perez, you've been talking to Aztec again, haven't you? You
Ooh.
bastard.
Ooh. Don't swear, Sean.
All right, sorry. I apologize. That was a bit too much.
That's all right. We love jokes like that, Sean. That's all right. Anyway, look, I'm going to close it down. Let's go out. Gentlemen, let's all go out on a high. It's been great. Thank you all very much. And we're going to end the broadcast in 5 seconds. 5, 4,
See you.
3, 2, 1. Good night.